What's something your employer did that instantly killed employee morale? Banned smartphones in the break room to force us to talk to one another and build camaraderie. Ends up we didn't like each other that much. No raises or bonuses this year due to company performance, but I will make it up to you by taking the whole company to the lake for a trip on my new 30-foot boat. Business had been running for 3 years and many of the employees had been there from the beginning without getting a pay rise. After some requests, the company announced that there would be a review of everyone's pay. Called in each worker to discuss. Basically, they had decided to pay every employee the same amount. This meant that a few got a raise, most stayed the same, and some, who had negotiated better at hiring, had their wages reduced. Needless to say, most employees were unhappy. 2 weeks later, the 3 brothers who owned the business bought themselves 2 new cars and a second-hand Rolls-Royce. That was a real slap in the face. In a very short span of time, they changed everyone's 401k plan, for worse, and then implemented an office-wide cleanliness policy. No eating at your desk. Only 3 personal items on your desk. Everything labeled. No items other than your keyboard, mouse, and monitors on your desk at the end of the day. Talk about pissed off. You could feel the gloom when you walked in. Everyone's give-a-shitter broke at once. Large factory, not unionized. Each department clocks in at a different place, mainly that department's break room. My department clocked in across the facility from the main entrance, which meant it took about 15 minutes to walk from the front door to where you clocked in and out at, and another 5 to walk from that entrance to the parking lot. There was a side exit that we would use, however, that literally cut that walk down from 20 minutes to 3, since our department was right next to the parking lot. Management decided that all employees must enter and exit through the same door, which meant we had to walk all the way down to the main entrance and then back around to our cars. There was so much rebellion from the employees in our department that they had to bar the doors shut with 2 X4s. Joke's on them, even unionized employees can be a pain in the ass. We contacted the fire marshal, who upon seeing a fire exit barricaded, fined the company $8,000. We still were not allowed to enter through this door, but they stopped trying to stop us. To cut costs, they started a policy that only certain departments had internet access. It basically started a class system that bred resentment across departments, and caused an exodus from the non-internet teams. Ah, the internet. I have heard tales told of this precious and rare commodity, but if you ask me, they're just legends made up to pass the time and fill the children with awe and wonder. My boss is looking to retire in the next 3 to 4 years. He told everyone that he wanted us to come up our visions for the company and its future over the next 5, 10, 20 years. We're a small office of about a half dozen people, but we've been growing, and so everyone brought up growth projections and succession planning once he retires, etc. His son is the heir apparent and has a precocious 8-year-old, so in my 20-year version I even included the grandson joining the business and grooming it to become a legacy company. My boss went last, and we were expecting something acknowledging some of our thoughts, or at least an expression of appreciation that the company he founded would live on well past his retirement, be in good hands, etc. Instead, it was brutal and short. It was something along the lines of, "I do everything around here anyway, so I should just sell the company to fund my retirement, and you can all find other companies to work for in a few years." Mood killed. Meeting ended. Everyone quits that same year, and he can start his retirement early. Yay! And the value of his company nosedives. Everyone wins. How disappointing he didn't realize employees and their knowledge are often a company's greatest asset. In a company of 6 people, owner said in a meeting with everyone that his 2 sales guys are irreplaceable and that the rest of us are just paper pushers. He now runs a company of 3 people. Sales guys put maybe 20 minutes into one deal, then operations puts days into logistics, payment, paperwork, claims, etc. We also just purchased an office building for $1 million plus, so if we leave and sales can't sell, this place will most definitely end up deep in bankruptcy. I'd hate to see that happen, but it's not the first time we've been informed that we're scum and just suck up company money while the sales guys are the ones making the profits. Try working in IT. That attitude is just the standard state of being. It's a job where if you work absolutely perfectly, you're totally invisible and only appear on the radar when something fucks up. Just a few weeks ago, we did a major office move. My department worked back-to-back 12 to 18-hour days to get everything moved over, which we managed with less half a day's downtime, and we were moving the company's main data center. By the end of the final weekend, after carrying 30-plus servers, plus cabs, up 4 stories, recabling 200-plus desks, and literally moving trucks worth of gear, I got home and my legs just wouldn't work anymore. I still have the blisters on my feet from walking about 30 miles in 2 days, and I was still at my desk at 7 a.m. the next day to run around the office fixing teething issues. Then, a few days ago, the country chief got the whole office together to thank everyone for their hard work. He had a stack of envelopes with thank you card 50-pound vouchers in them. Everyone who volunteered to help with the move got one, including the people who volunteered to have an early snoop around the new office, spent 30 minutes on site and did precisely fuck all. You know who didn't get a mention or an envelope? Anyone in IT. The people who were there working unpaid overtime until 2 a.m. for weeks. Former teacher. The administrators at my school were usually pretty chill, but had a habit of randomly coming up with minor rules that they would enforce for us. Male teachers had to wear ties even on jeans day, etc. Overall, it wasn't bad, except for the time an administrator made a crucial mistake. They banned staff from drinking coffee in front of students. Now, if you've never worked in a school, you'd think this isn't a big deal. When you spend nearly 100% of your day in front of students, it definitely is a big deal. First, we tried to find any loophole we could. Energy drinks? Banned the next week. Tea? Banned 2 days later. It was chaos. Eventually, we realized they couldn't fire an entire school's worth of teachers and aides, so we ended up doing the one thing that private schools fear most. We formed a union. Realistically, it was more of a weird pseudo-union focused specifically on civil disobedience regarding the coffee issue, but it ruffled feathers nonetheless. The administrators caved to our demands, allowed us to drink coffee again, and even bought each of us a reusable coffee mug as a gesture of goodwill. And that's the story of how a handful of school administrators almost accidentally created a teachers' union over a complete non-issue. Casually said the best employee was X, and everyone, including X, knew that X was among those who did the least amount of work. Edit. X was the most friendly to the boss, always coming in to say, "Hi, do you need anything?" Fired the girl who was in her 3rd trimester of pregnancy 3 days before her maternity leave was to start. My wife was let go after she announced her pregnancy to her manager, and approximately when she would need maternity leave. She was told that they'd rather replace her than deal with a pregnant employee and all that goes with that. A well-worded letter from our attorney got her 1 year's severance, and 2 years medical coverage for her and the baby. Held a super positive, pep rally-style company-wide meeting about how they were going to start combining our sick days with our vacation days, and now just call them PTO. This was presented to us as a great thing, since we could all now use our PTO days fully as vacation days if we wanted to. Once the system was implemented, everyone realized that instead of getting 10 vacation days and 10 sick days per year, we now all had 15 PTO days. Everyone was pissed. Head of department realized that we weren't about to meet our targets for the financial year. Completely banned annual leave for 3 months. Forced anyone who didn't fill in their timesheet on time to attend disciplinary meeting, despite problems with the system meaning that some didn't get filled in, and generally had lower management terrified, causing a massive blame culture and several people to be signed off with mental health issues. In the end, the employee survey which went to his bosses was hilariously bad, and he's now somewhere else making some other people's lives a misery. The best part was when his replacement came in and fired his right-hand man who was also a dick. It was a 1-2 punch. The company-wide meeting announced the promotion of several high-level management and executives, mostly title and responsibility changes. Lots of smiles and handshakes, not unlike a college graduation ceremony. After these promotion announcements, they declared that due to the stagnant economy and poor sales, the entire company would be experiencing a pay freeze as a result. So, no raises for anyone. They then concluded the meeting by discontinuing casual Fridays. So, no more jeans on Friday. It almost felt like it was designed to make people want to quit and leave. It worked though. I and many others moved on to greener pastures within the year. Told a bunch of people they were going to be promoted to get us to do extra work, No one got promoted. I basically did her job for a month. Me and 3 of my coworkers quit, and she got fired a few months later. They banned phones, electronics, puzzles, books, etc. from being used at your desk. I work at a call center. We were expected to just sit and wait for the next call to come in, distraction-free, even if it was a super slow day. They banned phones at my work, contact center, and any device with a camera as I work in government with public info. I now set up a Nintendo Switch and rock Mario Kart or Zelda between calls as there is no camera, no way to connect to a browser, and no voice recording. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.